Hello and welcome, every soul, everyone tuning in to this video. And I am continuously updating live stream because it only listens to me for so long. Well, I set up the video and I left it on, so give me a moment to adjust the settings. Changing the title. I have to check on the other platforms now. Joys of using a streaming platform, am I right? Okay, so I've updated the title. I'm streaming to multiple places, so on some places it might already be the right title. How is everyone? How is everybody doing? Maybe it's just showing me things that it wants to show me. It's not to be public. It's to show you. So, anyway, I think we're good enough to go that and going. So, I'm Serafina Marasha, and I am a soul empowerment coach consultant, primarily life and business coach, and I specialize in mindset wellness and empowerment for soulpreneurs, everyday spiritual soulpreneurs, and everyday spiritual souls, where we work on releasing stress. So like stress regulation is the main focus. We do that on all levels of the soul, and we do that on all levels of our life. And now, I work primarily with, um, say, for example, people neurodivergent, neuropreneurs, uh, kind of divergent spiritual entrepreneurs looking to start sole enterprises that are very impactful, that will give them freedom and empowerment in their lives. So also mompreneurs, mothers, fathers, parentpreneurs, and parents, as well as nomads, digital nomads, expats, the kind of alternative lifestyle. So kind of like the spirituality element is just like a connection to something higher than the self, or define it as being in touch with the soul, one's own soul. So today I want to give an overview of my around the daily soul distress. So I'm going to begin sharing the screen here. So actually, so this is scroll up. This is the program overview, and I have also an offer post or an invitation to work with me either one one on a group coaching program that is going. You can join in a 1 day intensive in this December, or you can join in January. You can be added to the wait list for when we next enroll in group clients. So this is the invitation. I can send a link to the one to see it somewhere else. I don't really want to go through it now. Just pretty much covers um, a summary on working together one-on-one and what that means, and who it's good for. And with that, how we do it in the summary. So I created, I've discovered and refined, and also created the additional things that were not there. My own process and methodology through my own experiences, as well as with clients. Now, I will share briefly um, about let me just share the post briefly. Um, and again, I said I can link to this. So if you're going to work with me one-on-one for 30 days, and this can be extended on a monthly basis, on a monthly retainer, we find the real reason behind your struggle and your stress, and the specific kind of soul stress release that or that your soul's protocol. Focus on using uh, the process and methodology that I use, and those are some of the elements of process and methodology. And we look at those different domains within those elements to create your daily de-stress strategy and daily de-stress practice, and we fine-tune it for your journey to freedom, empowerment, peace, and growth, and soul fulfillment. We then create an empowerment kit for your practice and your um, specific plan or plans, and this will make more sense when we look at the program overview. Um, and we look at certain emergency situations, obstacles, and other uh, areas to plan for um, that while you are going through this. So essentially, we create a plan for 3 months, even though we're only working together for 1 month. And then in that 3 month time, we look at what's essential for you and what you need in emergency situations if anything was to happen different from the daily de-stress, the daily soul de-stress practice that you have in place. And then finally, I help you tailor your change guide to help you adapt your daily de-stress for another further 3 months. Just like if you know you have a goal and it's a 6 month goal with this your business on your life and your soul, you're then able to break down what you need to do for 6 months to achieve that goal and to achieve that specific outcome and to get results, not waste time and resources, and do it in a way that is uh, objectively sustainable and uh, suits your experiences, your learning, your soul, your authentic needs and situation. So, as so I will post a link to it somewhere at the description and the comments. Keep an eye out if you want to read it in total. And I would say so for a one-on-one, say the price where it is now is the value that you get out of it is 10 times more than what you pay. So it's like if you think in 6 months, so at the moment, this offer um, it's like 30,000 US dollars worth of value, just in this program for 30 days, because it's created to and designed to be able to uh, keep you on that path, on the journey, and in the process for 6 months. So £30,000, say £5,000 a month, worth of value, £30,000. I keep saying in pounds because I'm British. I'm so used to pounds. Um, can There's not much difference now, the US dollar and the pound. So even though the pound is still a little bit higher, you can realistically, like, say if we're working together for 3,000 US dollars, and a note here that I generally, for euros, pounds, and US dollars, I keep the price the same generally at the moment. That might change in the future. So if somebody's, depending on what it is, um, I've written it here in US dollars, um, but essentially I also work here for 1 month for £3,000 if you're using pounds. It's just because once I go through conversions in my business, it's sometimes not working out the difference per se. Um, so, say for example, $30,000 in 6 months, $3,000 a month, but you get that value for less time investment, and you get like a very custom package created for you. So, it says in my offer the price anyway. So you can, if you want to send me a message and ask for more information about that, then you're welcome to do that. Um, and I can also send you a link to the invitation post where there is more information personally. So the program length, this is a really useful, I just want to change something here. I'm going to change add, continue. The program is for days, it's like 4 weeks roughly, so it's a session a week, and that session is at uh, 2 hours. And I try to keep the main content of like what we need to do under 1 hour and a half, and then we have 30 minutes to apply what the main content was. And we also get messenger support and email support. So I send in those voice notes, video notes, email notes. I generally, this is like, um, as you can see here in the first week, we get quite a lot of resources. So I'm not going to be surprised if you're like asking how to, what this resource means and etc. And I have like frequently asked questions to answer those. So when you first reach out to me on DM, I go through and ask you a few questions to see if we're a good fit, which is just basically repeating what is in my invitation post or my offer post, and asking you like to clarify your specific situation. Because I ask people if they're going to reach out to me to kind of answer a few questions. If they haven't answered those questions, I'm just going to ask those questions again. And the method and the process really is just about releasing stress daily and finding freedom and empowerment within your soul, your life and business, or to find freedom in your life, soul, and business by using simple, proven strategies, practices, solutions without wasting your time, your energy, your resources, and then you can focus your time, energy, and resources on what matters most to you for soul fulfillment. And once we've gone through and seen a good fit, I will then send you a program policy and a link to send payment. And that's usually because that conversation is quite in depth, and if you are open, I like it. I prefer when we use voice notes and video notes, so I do send video notes and voice notes to ask questions and see if we're a good fit. If you join the email lists, you will be able to receive some of these as lead magnets over time. So if you are you're interested in a group program or doing one-on-one coaching, there are some like training videos and documents that you can get by signing up, joining the Facebook group and signing up to the email list. And after that, in the first week, so once the payment is confirmed, usually depending on how you pay, it's not received right away. It can take a few days to process. Like Stripe is the link I will send you, so it really kind of depends on the situation. But you should automatically, once your payment is confirmed, get a email with an intake form and these resources, and it will link you to like a resource website. So I've used like Dropbox and Drive before, where all these resources are together. So it's kind of like a course, but it's you're gonna like do it on like download it onto your phone or wherever it's best for you. So you have it when it's available. I find that works best and works best for me. So the first milestone in the first week and what we'll be focusing on in the first session, typically like your intake, is it here? Yes, your simple soul stress Destress intake form. Um, it's not essential that you do it before we have the session. I just like to have more information. Um, I would generally say that like the if you have any issues like with filling in intake form, let me know. It's just really good to have this intake form before we go to the second session. So that's like the main aim. You have like 7 days, and it's not too complicated an intake form. So as you can see here, there's some very short assessments, very easy assessments. There are 1, 2, 3 guides, no, 4 guides, and they're also again short, 1 page, 2 page. I don't like to have too many. I think the checklist here, I think that's probably like 9 pages. It's probably the longest is all the other things. So all the other two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. It helps to kind of summarize everything else, and we just go through the checklist just to see that we have covered everything and you understand everything there. So essentially here what we're doing is we are going to use these simple assessments that can be done in they're very dynamic and adaptable. So um, it could be done so naturally that you don't realize it. I'm gonna put it into you and send it, and then you just check over if that resonates. Or you could do it yourself. It depends on how much willingness and involvement you have for going through the guides and then doing the assessment and then going through the guides to be able to be involved in your plan. But I think as long as you're working, with me, this is a done with you style one-on-one rather than a do-it-yourself or done for you. Um, but you have these resources, these templates, these examples, these guides that are going to simplify that process. And I'll briefly explain what each one does. So the checklist, as I mentioned, I can show you here. I have it here. I don't want to do each one individually. I'm going to do different trainings. There are already some trainings and masterclasses um, on some of them. um, that I will link to below. So if you want to see what each one's about, I think this is also an example of um, what any um, being able to break down its like so I'll show you guys. So we have the is the longest, but it pretty much through all the other resources that come as and you don't have to cover them. Like you can, like I said before, you can send the form before the second session. And yeah, the soul de-stress strategies checklist. So for the soul stress release, the soul framework, we check, in the guide it will have it will guide you through what physical soul stress release, mental soul stress release, psychological soul stress release, and spiritual soul stress release need. I will guide you through the de-stress release, neuropreneurship, the parentpreneurship, nomadpreneurship, and everyday spiritual soulpreneurship, depending on your specific situation. You could be a combination of those. And same with soul framework, you could have a combination of areas, domains, soul stress release that you need to work on. So we kind of look at that and we choose the two most um, important. And what we tend to do is like if one is kind of like you already have, um, it depends on your level of efficacy or your level of the gap that you have to bridge between point A and B with where you want to be. If you're pretty close to one of them and then the other one is a really huge stressor, then we're able to make some room and do like work on maintaining what you've already set up in one while we build and grow another one. But if you kind of like every area is a bit really in bad shape, then I tend to prefer to focus on one specific domain because um, being able to nail that domain will give you first a very quick win, and second, it will give you an idea of what it's like to work through the soul stress, de-stress um, process to be able to apply that to another domain and then be able to do it yourself or to be able to do it um, in another area in a way that is, um, you know, really, really empowering to and lasting and impactful and really gets results. So again, like if you're somebody who's always experienced or prone to experiencing abuse, and the ones kind of help you nail these down if you need. Um, if you have areas around your beliefs, areas around the anxiety you experience or trauma or emotional intelligence. So we just kind of look at like things that are likely to show up for you in terms or what you've experienced the most in terms of or what you still experience, and they're likely to be obstacles when you come to face change. Like when um, uh, something happens, it means that you need to change your life. So your empowerment kits also, we just check the empowerment kit and your essentials kit is connected, is courageous, is clear, is competent, and I have a choice. So I've made like lots of different um, like Reiki sessions, meditations, yoga sessions, and some of those for helping you connect. I think they're based on the idea of the different direction for the de-stress wheel that you are, your soul is core to. If you're core to multiple, then multiple might be more helpful for you. So we check for kind of, is it connected, is it courageous, is it clear, is it competent, and which one is best for your kit. So I recommend up to 7 different things in your kit, and those can be physical things, digital things, different ways to connect with those. I generally, like the people I work in person, I do give a lot of physical. I include a lot of like um, physical remedies, aromatherapies, lots of different things, crystals, lots of different things in an empowerment kit. Whereas people online, I also include those, but there might be like um, working energetically, Reiki sessions, meditation. Um, these are, a lot of these are pre-recorded, so we will just pick the best one for you in your specific situation. Um, and I will create a custom one for like the one that you need most um, in terms of emergencies. So if you really need like to help stay in and keeping the courage when emergency situations strike or you need help feeling connected, then we will work on one custom for you. And then there is, when we looked at the soul framework, there was the physical level, the physical domain, the mental domain, the psychological domain, and the spiritual domain. So this one just kind of breaks down the different strategies within those domains. So say if you really need to focus on physical de-stress, and the way to kind of a quick tip, de-stress tip, but to take the assessments and work with me, I would say is the best way to really know. Um, Somebody who is prone to anxiety, trauma, and like has issues with alexithymia, trouble identifying the emotions, mental health conditions, developmental disorders. So here I'm thinking of more of the new kind of created to like match. I kind of call it the divergent, the alternative solution. I call it divergent entrepreneurs seeking transformative and reliable, and efficient solutions and systems to de-stress. So that's a whole other story. But neuropreneurs, um, parapreneurs, who are entrepreneurs, um, like you hear more of like the mompreneur, stay-at-home mom, like your not your um, for many entrepreneurs who scale. This is just an example. They tend not to have families, so mompreneurs, dadpreneurs who are um, also maybe neurodivergent or also maybe nomads and expats. Um, there's like a lifestyle impact mission that they have in their soul that is really like calling them, and they're not just like in it for the money. It's not just about the income for them. It's like a business for soul fulfillment. So if you are if neuropreneur or physical, it comes up as pretty likely that um, physical distress is one of the things that one of the two things to work on too many that we'll be focusing on. So one or two strategies yeah, can be used, and I use this for myself. So my own example is that um, I work with 3 main strategies for my daily. Okay, sorry. I'm just gonna write out here. Oh, it's locked. Okay, it's fine. So where's the sleep here? I also this I refer to as rest. I just need to change this version. Don't worry, there's like a big update happening with all these documents. So if you see rest in the future, that's because I've changed it. So I work with connection, nourishment, and movement a lot. I my sleep is very, very good, and there are factors in my life that are contributing to that just naturally being something I don't need to really focus on. I just like maybe because my nourishment and movement so good, my sleep is good. Um, Also being where I am now, um, with I have a lot of changes going on hormonally because I am pregnant and I'm expecting a surprise gender baby. A lot of women at this stage of pregnancy that I'm at, they have trouble sleeping, and I've slept so beautifully. I feel so grateful. There's a lot of things that I help in that, so that's not something I need to focus on because my sleep doesn't stress me out. Um, for example, like connection is like grounding, earthing. It can be um, Reiki, using Reiki or energy healing. There is in the Soul Framework Guide more information about what each of these um, entail. So, like what each of the levels entail. And in the Simple Soul Stress Release uh, guide, let me just check here. The switch tab. In the Soul Framework Guide, there's the physical level, the mental level, the psychological level, and the spiritual level. And then in the Soul Stress De-Stress Guide, it will cover what the connect can look like in most cases, and the best kind of tactics behind those strategies would be. So if you break it down again, so for example, nourishment, movement, is lots of different, very simple little things you can do with your movement. So I've studied different disciplines, disciplinary and multidisciplinary, and integrated them into a holistic vision. There's also some bonuses here. Here you get a 24-hour real. It's also probably how much there is a mm, daily soul. 24-hour daily soul juice wheel. So this just helps you see how your time is actually going in a day, and how you can uh, plan more effectively and free up your focus and resources. Going back here, yes, the Simple Soul Stress Guide will guide you through the different parts of physical de-stress, the full level domain of soul stress release, the mental level, psychological level, and the spiritual level. And then next, so if you come back here to the checklist, you have the mental de-stress. So in the first week, we're literally like, you will have these resources throughout the entire time we're working together to refer to learn from, to meditate, reflect on, so that you connect with what's really going on behind the scenes. So you cannot see because we are blind to our our stuff. Not all our stuff, but some of our stuff. We can't see everything. We can't see why we're struggling the way we're struggling, and even if we can, um, knowing what to do doesn't necessarily translate into actually doing it. So we have trouble then kind of like feeling, we start to feel disempowered because it's like, oh my God, I don't know I feel so hopeless. I don't know what to do about this because I know or I know what to do about this, but I can't I can't find the energy. That's one that often I hear. I can't find the time. And you could say these are just excuses, but this is a narrative we tell ourselves. Um, and the beliefs around, what we are capable of and what we're not capable of, and what we can effectively um, change, or we that sense of go from disempowered to empowered, that sense of perception of being able to. I think my partner working's back. Oh, hold on, mommy. Let me just mute this. Okay, so I'll just quickly go into the checklist so that you see, like, over the first week, the kind of will come up. Um, we will cover, and you will kind of meet in your on your journey in this process. So again, another level of in the soul framework, mental, um, mental de-stress. Here, there's a with gratitude and with courage, affirming, breathing, exploring. So there's like statements for some people, turning those statements into questions and affirmations that they can work with is very useful. For others, not so much, because they don't have the mental stress. They don't need to challenge their thoughts. And this is not beliefs. Beliefs is in the psychological level. So this is more to do with thoughts and changing a narrative. So this is it's like the work that you need to do before you change your beliefs. A lot of people will go straight into trying to change their beliefs, but because they have not faced their thoughts, their stuff, the and then the feelings associated with that. It's very difficult to change your beliefs if you're not aware how you're best suited to belief change. Some people will need to like do physically shake before they can be received. They can get the information that they need, or the inspiration that they need, or whatever it is that they need to go through to transform their belief. Some people need to physically shake. Some people, they need to maybe write out the same question to themselves, or in general, 9 times, like, or say that 9 times. So it really depends on each person, because um, for my clients with anxiety, which is why I say they're connected, for them to move is really more powerful to change their beliefs. So if they moved and then they did it, um, then they did like this belief work, which is this, and they did the visualization, then they created this. But before they did moved, or they moved, did that, and then moved again. For the people with anxiety and difficulty regulating emotions, or having developing emotionally, that is really helpful. But for somebody with um, a lot of head. So this is like your cognitive behavior therapy. Um, we're kind of looking at like the physical de-stress working bottom up. If we look at nervous system regulation, and the mental de-stress working more top down, not exclusively, but physical more bottom up, and mental de-stress more top down. So they balance each other out. And then when it comes to psychological and spiritual as well, we're actually looking at psychological de-stress working more bottom up, and spiritual de-stress, believe it or not, working more top down. Um, and this would be the stress regulation. They're also associated with different systems in the body. Um, Stress regulation, looking at top down and bottom up approaches integrating. Um, I get into you look at the guides or search the big nerve of like top down, bottom down regulation on your search engine, wherever you have it handy. Um, the uh, yeah, for the tip that there's more on this later. So this is like more connected. So this is this at the level of the physical. It's my nervous system regulation. I'm just trying to remember the order now. Yeah, the mental is circulatory system, which is your like even though it's mental, it's connected to like your heart and your circulation. Um, and that's just because of the way like your cognitive skills really require you to have oxygen. So circulation is actually um, what's most important, and the digestive system is also kind of so the digestive kind of links the two together, the nervous and the there's a lot more to this, but I would leave you with the idea that this is also the system physiologically in your body and not go into the details of which the system is right now. Oh, I'll just finish, but not the details. So psychological and spiritual is your endocrine or hormone system. And for the details, just work with me together, and then you kind of understand why this process it works very well because it's complementary to the entirety, the holistic experience uh, of stress, and anybody going through the journey of trying to um, have that like uh, awareness and capacity um, to integrate and to act and experience life and this just very different level that's important for a spiritual soul. So on the psychological level, there is, as I mentioned, clearing, creating, visualizing, meditating. So we looked at different tactics surrounding that, and then change on the spiritual. Stress based, we look at change, we look at sharing, we look at considering, we look at celebrating. And for newcomers, this is where we get the enterprise and business side. I'm not going to go through this right now because this is going to like be a separate video. It's very long, but there's also the this is an example of your checklist when you get yours in the second week. We create your own checklist. So there's an example here to create that. And then, yeah, so this is like evergreen de-stress or the infinite soul enterprise, the infinite business de-stress. There are more here to add. I will add them. So this was like the original version, but the updated version now is offer, systems, lead, nurture, sales, admin, and viral. And the masterclass is here. You will, so as well, in the guides, these are, they come as part of the package with the program. And yeah, that's probably the longest thing that you'll receive for like the longest thing. And it's not much reading, but also word heavy. Um, so the de-stress wheel guide. These are all concepts that you see on the checklist. And then in the second week, take your daily de-stress strategy and your we take those overall strategies and pick two from the one domain or two domains if we're kind of working two domains, but like, we do not work really on all domains at the same time because as one of the de-stress secrets is to focus like on one domain or two domain because you are effectively going to save up the energy to then use for the other domains if you're not taxing yourself. That's basically the idea. It's easier to learn a skill if you're focusing on just learning one skill than if you're focusing on learning like 10 different skills at the same time. So it's a skills training approach. And you have your we will work on again. We have one session this week working on the daily soul de-stress statements, the daily soul de-stress, your daily soul de-stress practice, your daily soul evergreen de-stress practice, and this is for you. Um, a lot of people, for those who are building or growing um, their soul enterprises and their soul aligned businesses, some people don't know what they need to do. So they don't know what they need to do daily to get the results that they are after, and that's what this the Soul Evergreen De-Stress um, covers. And then there is a planner. It's available on Amazon, or you can you will get it as part of this program. This will help you put everything on one page the day if you need to, and it's not dated, so you can use it as and when. And then the 24-hour daily soul de-stress wheel, and of course the masterclass series. But you get ones specifically chosen for you on your specific situation, depending on your um, assessments and what you need most. And then kind of like, oh, you can watch all of them. It's kind of, if it's not relevant to you, there's no point watching all of them. So you will know which ones are for you specifically. Um, what I usually recommend while we're working together during this time is I lock, like, you don't have access to the others, you just have access to the ones that are applicable for you. And then if you find those are not helpful after applying them over the 4 weeks, then we, you know, use different ones. So this is just to help you focus, especially if you have like a hard time focusing. You just want to go through all the material, but you never actually apply it. You never actually put it into action. You just like shiny object syndrome or something. You're always looking for the next solution. That's why I kind of like say, okay, just focus on get everything else. Like the whole thing is one big like, you know, it's like you're in a ship, but then you just need to like focus in the um, area that you are working in or working on. And then the third week is uh, the empowerment kit, and we have a checklist for that too. And then there's a guide for the empowerment kit guide. And this is essentially for emergency situations or situations of high stress. As I said here, like looking at the, some people are more prone to experience anxiety and depression. Like you might have both, but you are likely more prone to like maybe you experienced one before you experience the other, before you started cycling between them. Like feeling like um, you're really, really anxious one day and then really, really depressed one day. But if you look back at your experiences, was it for most childhoods? Um, Maybe you remember being anxious forever because of the traumatic upbringing that you had, or maybe your upbringing was very good and then something happened and you got depressed. It's very rare that something happens and you get anxious. It can, or maybe you just notice one day you feel anxious because now you're a teenager and you're self-conscious and your hormones are different and you know you basically it's just part of natural life. Um, this is dependent on context, what an emergency means for you, because obviously there's obvious emergencies of like life and death situations. In terms of stress release, emergencies are things that can knock your progress so badly. Um, for example, like having burnt out. So, say for example, if some like you were doing really well with your nutrition and nourishment, and then something happened, and now you can't stop binge eating everything, and you can't go back on track with your plan for your nutrition plan or your diet plan, depending on whatever it is you're aiming for. So this is like an emergency for you, but that's not might not be an emergency for somebody if that's not priority. So we create that, you know, plan. You have a checklist, and then you also have your essentials kit, which is looking at this um, everything we put in place before, and um, nailing down what's essential for you. So back to the idea of not having to, um, go through everything to find out what's going to work for you if you go through an emergency. Um, and then in the last week before we help you tailor your change guide so you can adapt that. So we create a plan for 3 months, even though we're only working together for 4 weeks, 30 days. So we have like a session a week for 2 hours maximum. We create the plan, and then that plan, looking at, objectively, we also have a specific outcome and specific result we want to get, whether that's like, so I've had, for example, somebody who wanted to feel more grounded and more connected to her body and her feet, and as well, she was focused on opening a community and cafe. Um, from so she wanted to transition out of say like full time work in what she did as an architect, and to go to um, doing more of her soul enterprise. She loves the idea of community. She loves the idea of like making things out of natural materials. So this is what she's really passionate about, um, and she wanted like a cafe and community. Um, so, for example, for her situation, her change guide or a change um, essential kit, um, you know, as well as involving. So she's also travels a lot, so um, more of a nomadpreneur, um, like neuropreneur, nomadpreneur. This is more along the lines like her change guide with more along the lines of the physical, because she had this relationship with her feet, like or her body, her limbs, her extremities. So she had like the physical de-stress that she's focusing on, and the kind of some neuropreneur, nomopreneur um, work that we were doing together. And another example is just like um, here, if I check. Um, Somebody wants to do a retreat an online course, and at the moment they're working full time in kind of a corporate environment, and they're in quite a like leadership position in this corporate environment, um, and mm, they work as an expat. So they work abroad with different non-government organizations, and yeah, so they're before we worked together, they wanted to grow they like to teach languages, grow their language teaching business, or to launch an online course in their language teaching business and have a retreat. But they felt very much like, and they also want interested in writing, breaking out into like writing, being paid to write online to supplement their income, but also ultimately being able to go full time in their um, economics and language business, and help developing countries with languages and economics. So they, for a very long time, were having difficulty. So they're a very artistic person, a very creative person, as a entrepreneur, and they were having difficulty with like um, playing. So like they love to draw and do art, but they haven't done it in a really long time because of the stress of like their job and their situation. So one of the things we worked on is allowing themselves to play, which is a part of the create here. So to clear, to create, to visualize, and break down. And they have actually, since we worked together, they were able to um, launch. They have an online course teaching languages, and they ran a retreat in America. So they're from like a developing country in Africa, and they've worked in Asia, they worked in Europe, they worked all over the place, They ran a retreat in America for the American students that they were teaching a language to. So they were able to nurture relationships to build, this online course that now they can sell. And I'll put links to this, if anybody's interested. If you want to know what the language is, let me know. So they were able to have that course now. People can just go and buy it, and they don't have to be giving their one-on-one time. They're very clear on what it is that they um, they're able to help people beginning to learn this language. Um, so it's very easy, like much easier. And they also write in for a very big um, economics economics website. I think it's called The Economist actually, and they're getting paid to do that. So going from this is quite a while ago. I think it's about 2 years ago when we had that session. But they were able to break down those goals. They're very good at breaking down goals that they want to achieve anyway, and to face the different um, stress, anxiety, uh, everything that was coming up around that beliefs, sabotage, um, all this. So this, um, these right here. So the depression, mood, um, income impact. They were able to increase their income and increase their impact. And going to South Africa, going to different places. They were already like traveling a lot. So this is another example there. Oh, sorry, wrong one. That's money. um, another example there, nomad, or two examples there of it. So one is what I would consider more. You can see you combine your soul and your evergreen de-stress to kind of create or choose the strategies that work best for you to create your daily de-stress strategy around, and choose tactics that work for you around. So the first one would be considered more of a physical nomadpreneur de-stress, where she was looking at things like um, connecting, with different pathology to help with grounding and balancing her body, which I really consider to be more connecting than anything. Touch, physical touch is connecting. Massage, these very connecting things. So we did that, and we looked at her movement. We had some uh, yoga sessions that we were doing together. I think was it every other day, or was it every morning? But very for that month that we were together, it was very because we were working one on one in person, which is what I love. It was very um, frequent the sessions, and she kind of paid for a longer period, but she wanted to do it in a shorter period. So like 3 months worth of sessions in a 1 month period, and we just have like a session every other day, which was really good. And then yeah, so it was like the physical de-stress, and then what else did we? Uh, I think there was like a little bit of psychological de-stress to work through. Um, a little bit of mental de-stress, I would say. I can look at their notes too, actually. Actually, I'm just looking for. Yeah, I think we did the exploring. So it was physical de-stress and secondary mental de-stress. But really, we focused on the physical de-stress, which is why I was like looking through. Yeah, we even looked at like nourishing things and sleep. Yeah, there's a little bit of, I would say, mental de-stress for her, whereas in the the second example I gave, for her, it was more psychological de-stress, where we were looking at, clearing his space. Even though she was very organized and, she was usually in a very tidy space, it is like an energetic clearing, um, which is kind of different. But to be able to kind of create and visualize and meditate from a place of like not thinking about the past. And she actually had EMDR sessions as well alongside that, which really helped her. And the psychological is actually looking at, doing your beliefs and self sabotage and so on and so forth. Um, so for her, we primarily focused on that. And, with all of them, we look at the goals and what the specific outcome or result they're actually looking for. Um, but we just focus on one or two soul stress, uh, de-stress, and just one or two evergreen de-stress, or the soul enterprise de-stress, the internet business de-stress. um, and as you can see from my pronounce, it was like nurturing. So for both of them, we did focus on nurturing. Out of, say, let's for example, down here, they offer their systems, their lead, their nurturing, the sales, the admin, and their viral referral, de-stress. So uh, I think there is also a third example, but I'm planning to kind of have them come on as a case study. So we will do that together. I think I will leave it there now because I've covered all 4 weeks and I've given you 2 examples. Um, and I will come on with a case study interview for the third example of like what we did. And they're still doing because they actually extended. They wanted to continue working to really nail down, um, to go deeper in the work and to really nail down like the process so that they can do it themselves in a more organic and, um, efficient way. Because when you first come across this, it's a bit of a learning curve. Um, so I will leave that video at that. I'm so grateful for everybody who is here watching this, and everybody who watches the actual replay. And I have so many other examples. I just need to um, I'm working on like the case study interview, so I will definitely be sharing more and different examples, like my own examples, because I've done this process in different, like 3 different phases of my life. Looking back, when I reflected, and I had to find a way to kind of weave it together, to design, or create, or discover. I don't know, put this in a way that it can translate into practical tactics, practical action, practical things you can do on a daily basis rather than something that you do one off. There are some things that you just need to do one off and you don't need to do again, but get to a point where you are comfortable, you are empowered and free from that situation of like paralyzing stress and not knowing what to do over and over again, completely banging your head, trying to figure out whatever it is you're trying to figure out. And for a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, I think that is online marketing, which is why I actually also help with. And by online marketing, I do just mean marketing and sales, like the entire online business idea or the entire make money online idea. So we do work on that as well in a very um, tailored to what is most aligned for you. And not, you know, this is why I say it's so valuable. The longer you're kind of aware of this and you apply it in your life, the better it becomes because the more profit you kind of gain from it. And I'm not just talking about monetary profit. I'm also considering, things like that personal development, or like that being able to achieve things that you never thought were possible because you never allowed yourself to actually know your soul was calling you to achieve those things. Because you were so stressed with the life and everything else going on and everybody else's problems. So I hope everybody has a very good rest of the morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time it is there, wherever you are. And I hope my sound was actually really good throughout the entire recording because I did not watch anything or check anything back or after. Um, I just noticed that I was talking like the checklist, but I was showing something else. Um, let me just quickly go here. When I was giving examples about the nomad panel, I was looking at, yeah, so looking at physical nomad panel. If you get a copy of this checklist, you will be able to cover what's needed. Yeah, so um, if you have any comments, any uh, further about the overview of the program, the offer invitation, which I'll put a link to both underneath, or the checklist, which you can get by signing up for the group, and the email list with your email address when you join the group. Um, and then you can have your own copy of the checklist, look through it, and because it comes as a welcome, as a lead magnet or welcome gift for signing up to the email list. And I'm going to wish everybody all the best, blessings, and distress. Yours soulfully, Serafina.